So you have a unique family history, I know, because explain this. How are you related to the Manaforts?
So my grandmother, her
Yep.
sister married John Manafort. So he's
Okay.
my great uncle.
Got it. Okay. So you guys know, like, the Manaforts for Plainville Stadium,
Yeah.
right? And then we're huge
Yeah.
when bringing the legend cars here with, like, Jackie Aroo and Jags and all them. Yeah, yeah. So racing's always been a part of your family then, obviously. Yeah?
Yes, but we were always close with them, but they really didn't get involved in our racing until we left quarter midgets and started with the legend cars.
Really?
Yeah, so we got involved. I should say we would have been involved whether we were related to them or not to start. And then they helped us kind of go to the next step.
So where'd you do quarter midget at?
Silver City.
Silver City?
Yeah.
How long did you race there?
I started 2002, ended 2010.
Wow.
That's a run.
So were you doing that while you were doing bandos too, or you went to the bandos after that?
After, so I think the first year of bandos, I did half a season quarter midgets, half a season bandolero.
Got it. So what were you, like 5 when you did the quarter midgets? Wow.
Yeah, me and Dana both started really young.
Yeah. How many years older is he than you?
3.
Okay. All right.
He's the older brother?
Yeah.
By 3 years? I thought you guys were like me and my brother, like a year and a half.
Yeah, he's 3.
You
Yeah.
seem so much more mature than him.
A lot of people say that.
You
I don't
know,
think my mom wouldn't agree, but
yeah, but
a lot
I
of
get the
people
same.
say that.
I get the same thing with me and my brother. They think Sean is always the older brother.
When I first met you guys, I thought that.
Right.
You know why I thought that? Because when I met you guys, this is just like weird logic, but when I met you guys, he was running a streeter and you were running a mini stock. And I was like, oh, the older brother must be the one in the street stocks.
Right.
That was my logic.
Right.
Cory, did you and Dana race against each other in the legend cars?
yeah.
Did you have any good battles?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
There was a lot of silent rides home and
Speaking of
bad
which.
Thanksgiving dinners and
Yeah.
we ran hard.
So there's definitely competitiveness between you guys?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm sure when you're younger, it's probably a little bit more intense.
Right. So we never got to race against each other in quarter midgets or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was for sure intense in the legend.
Because he ran legend cars for quite a long time.
Yeah, he started 3 years before I did, 2 years.
Yeah.
And he ran a year after I stopped.
And so after that, you went what? SK Lights?
Yeah.
So what was that transition like? A lot of people have told us the legend cars kind of school you on a lot of stuff, make you prepared when you jump into mod.
Yeah, it was a lot easier for sure. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of people say the same thing when it comes to that. It was harder to race other people, but driving the car was easier,
Yeah.
I think.
And what about now when you jump in late model?
Similar to a modified, I would say like a mix between the SK Light and the SK.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, I would say so.
So what's the goal with you now? Do you have your sights on anything? You take it year by year? Or?
I just want to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the track, have fun. I would love to run a tour mod more regularly.
Right.
So that would probably be my end goal. The SK stuff's a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work every week.
How did you hook up with John Hummel?
They had Vassar driving for him, and then they had a falling out when I was at the track with my car at Stafford, and we would go, like, towards the end, we'd go maybe 5-6 times a year. I was running Waterford. And he's like, you want to jump in it next week, see how the car is? And just one thing led to another, and I ended up driving for him.
Nice.
Do you guys eat hot dogs at the shop?
No, not really.
No,
at the track.
Do you?
Yeah, at the track.
You got like a rotisserie little thing in there or no?
No, George Foreman.
Do you really?
Free food.
He's a good guy.
I've
He
never
is,
met him.
When I did,
He owns all of that, right? Hummel Hot Dogs.
Yeah, it's him and his brother and his cousin and his sister, I think.
So why is he tied in with Racework so much?
He owned a car in the late 90s, I think.
I think it's even early 90s.
Yeah, you probably know more.
I think I saw in one of the videos I did, I got like a race for the Stefanik thing. I want to say it was like 1993 that Flemke's driving an 11 car in a tour race. It looks exactly like the 11 that Cory drives now. And it was owned by John Hummel.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so he did.
So they go back a long way. Yeah,
Wow.
he raced for him I would say probably like 6 or 7 years in the 90s.
So that's
that.
just a relationship they've had that long. That's why it stayed Raceworks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. When I did Bones' interview, as a matter of fact, you were there when I did the interview with Bones, and then we went out to dinner afterwards, and it was me, Bones, Eddie, John Hummel, and somebody else who was super nice, but we never did like the name introduction, so I don't know who it was. But I've seen him at the track a couple times with you too.
Probably Jeff.
Might be it. Is that his brother?
No. Just
okay.
His friend.
Yeah, and so we had a good time. Yeah, I forget the name of the restaurant, but the food was fucking dynamite. Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, that's a legendary car. So, yeah, so that's cool that you have this setup where, they not only is it SK, but they have a tour ride too that you can dabble in.
Yeah.
So does the car stay housed at Raceworks?
Yep.
Yeah. So Eddie maintains it on the regular.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty hot
Yeah,
setup.
it's their house deal.
Yeah.
So do you go? How far are you from Raceworks?
Like 15 minutes. So I'll go Tuesdays and Thursdays, and obviously if there's more stuff to do or less stuff to do, I'll go more or less. But John likes it. John, he doesn't own a boat. He doesn't have kids. He races and works, so he likes going down there, and it's like his thing. So
Yeah.
That's he loves it, and it's cool because there's a lot of people that like you'll drive for and they'll complain like F this, like I want to sell everything, like I'm all done. Like you could destroy the car and the guy's got a smile on his face on the way home.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, he's always that way.
Yeah, he'll get upset, but he's never like he's not a hothead when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, like he was upset like when you guys you had a radiator issue or something at the World Series?
At the track, yeah.
Yeah. Because I went to put the
this past weekend?
Yeah. And I said to Corey, I'm like, can we put a camera on your car? And he's like, yeah, sure. So then later on after the heats, I went to put the camera on the car. And John's like, I don't know. That might be a waste of time, what we're dealing with here. And I was like, oh.
Oh, what did you run, an open car?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was in the mod race.
Yeah, he gets like that.
Yeah, like flustered. Yeah.
Like, flustered is the perfect word for it. But he's never like, that's it, I'm selling everything. Like,
yeah.
Never heard that come out of his mouth.
What's Eddie Flemke like working with?
He's cool. He's my dad never raced, and I got to hear bits and pieces from my uncles about like, oh, this is how we used to do it, but they never really came to the track like religiously all the time.
Yeah.
But having that perspective with Ed at the racetrack is cool because he's like, yeah, we used to do this and it worked really good, but then we stopped doing it because of X, Y, and Z. So it gives you like insight, like, all right, if he's tried this before and it's just more tools that you have in the toolbox.
Yeah.
And some of the funny stories he has too of like what used to happen.
Right.
And, like it's so different.
Yeah, I've interviewed him I think 3 times now. And I was telling these guys, I interviewed him for that Stefanik doc, and so that was like a couple weeks before I was there to do Bones. I interviewed Eddie.
Yeah.
And we sit down and I'm telling him about the project, and we sit down and he's like, yeah, me and Mike, we didn't really get along. And I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah, we hated each other for years. And I was like, I kind of wish you would have thrown that out to me beforehand. I would have had probably some different questions,
Right.
But because it's Eddie and he's a good storyteller, he told me the whole thing, and they patched it up, many years before he passed away, so it didn't end ugly or anything. But it's just kind of like, I just thought like he has so many stories that he didn't even think to tell me that they didn't even get along.
Yeah.
Like to me as the guy doing the project, that's kind of a big thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but he is a wealth of information, man. He's been around forever. So 73, I think the year I was born is when he started racing.
Who's that? Eddie?
Eddie Flemke, yeah.
I remember when he was at the bowl and stuff.
So he won the first 100-lap SK modified race anywhere was at the Speedbowl in 85 because the Aroots were leasing the track that year.
Yeah.
And Eddie won it. And that was his first win.
Wow.
He'd been racing since 73. He raced for 12 years before he won.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that nuts?
Yeah, that's a lot.
That'd
It'd be some serious,
think some stuff.
yeah, some serious doubt about your ability.
Yeah, right.
Like, damn it.